Welcome back to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast, the place where poetry meets conversation. I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and before we get into today's topic, make sure you hit that plus sign so you don't miss an episode. Also, please subscribe to my blog, thebrownsugarcafe.blog, and if you find any value in this episode or any other episodes, make sure you leave a heartfelt review. So with that being said, let's get to it. Social media is everywhere. Even if you're not on social media, you see it in ads, you see people's social media links everywhere. And I want to take a look at how I feel like we rely too much on social media to actually connect with people. It's funny to me, and I've said this before, how something that's supposed to bring us together seems to push us further apart. So before social media, before Facebook, I'll say I could remember everyone's birthday with no problem. And it reminded me, thinking about this, it reminded me of cell phones, how before cell phones, I knew everybody's phone number by heart. And now it's only a handful of people, my family, that I know their phone numbers. And if something were to happen to my phone, I or my contacts or lists, I have my contacts backed up. But if something were to happen to that, I wouldn't be able to contact people that I normally contact, people that I regularly contact. The other day, I thought about how some people take for granted seeing somebody's social media presence as them being okay. I've been in a couple of conversations where people, when's the last time you talked to so and so? And the person respond with, it's been a while, but I see them on social media every day or they're posting every day, so they must be fine. That's not necessarily true. People's perceptions and people's uses for social media, Facebook in particular, are completely different. Some people go on social media and they post their problems. They talk about what's going on in their life. They talk about their hurt and pain. And some of us, myself included, we don't do that. We don't use Facebook as a open diary or an open journal. But just because I don't do that doesn't mean I don't understand that that's how some people express themselves. And some people also get on social media because they've just gotten so used to doing it and they post things kind of numbly. There's no feeling attached to it, there's no actual indication of how they're actually doing. They're just posting stuff. They're just, and then some people who post jokes and things that are funny, that's something to try to help them feel better. And I think that we forget that we can't really see or understand how people are doing just by social media. We forget that this is just a platform that people can do whatever they want to do, pretend to be whoever they want to be. And just because you see somebody posting something every day or a couple of times a day, it doesn't mean that they're okay. The only thing you can pretty much, in some cases, you can't even confirm that, but the only thing you can pretty much confirm is that they're alive, but you don't know what state they're in. You don't know what type of emotions they're going through. You don't know what type of things are going on in their lives because some people don't share personal things on social media and some people do. Especially if you're a person that shares your personal stuff all the time on Facebook and things like that, it could be easier for you to get into a place of, well, I didn't see such and such was wrong with them, so they must be fine. But we have to remember that we all don't look at social media the same way. A lot of people look at social media, especially in this day and age, as a business tool. A lot of people are on there trying to engage and connect with people to up their business, to get more clients, to get more leads. And some people are just on just to see pictures of people who they haven't seen in years, even family members, because, right now we're kind of getting back into us all getting together and, getting out there in the world and hanging out and stuff. But when 2 years ago, when all this craziness started, people weren't getting together like usual. So I remember before social media, we used to, I don't even, do we even send pictures to people anymore? I mean, I don't know. Most of the people I know, when they take pictures, You have to hunt them down to get the pictures, but you'll see 10, 15 minutes later, they have them all posted on social media. And there's even some people who post the pictures on Instagram and Facebook and then delete them out of their phone right afterwards. Like that stuff probably won't go away. Anyway, I digress. And then there's the case where we don't see somebody on social media that's usually on there all the time, and then we worry. Then we wonder if they're okay. But I want to remind everybody that, you know, it's, I mean, we've had plenty of people personally in our lives. We've had famous people who we thought that they were fine, they were okay. And then we find out later that they committed suicide or they had been going through some sort of health issues, different things. But when it comes to people that we know personally, it's like we forget that. It's like we forget that things could be going on that we don't necessarily know. And when you check on people, they don't have to tell you what's going on with them. Hopefully they will, but sometimes just knowing that somebody cares is enough to help them keep pushing forward and, keep them from giving up. So I want us to not just assume that people are okay because we see them posting on social media all the time. And to be honest, some people could have those things scheduled where they're just, stuff is, especially Instagram, things are just, on the schedule, they're being posted, and the person probably hasn't logged into their phone for days. They really could be going through something. And then on the other side, it's people posting things and you can tell that they're not their best selves, that something is going on. This is like a hidden message in whatever they're saying. Check out to those people. Make sure that they're okay. Let them know you're there for them. Like I said earlier, you don't have to try to force them to talk, but let them know when they're ready to talk, when they feel like they need to talk to anybody, you're that person they can reach out to. And I hear this thing sometimes about people seeing people post how hurt they are, how they feel on social media stuff, and people think it's just for attention. It could be the case for some people, but we have to realize that we all look at this social media thing so differently. I remember when our parents first got on Facebook, and when Facebook first started, it wasn't, there wasn't an app for Facebook. And we would post stuff on the wall. It would be like crazy off the wall stuff that wasn't even true, just having fun. But when our parents got on, it became this thing where everything that was posted, they thought was real, they thought was serious. And then you'd get a phone call like, what's going on with so and so? I'm like, what are you talking about? And then it's some pop culture joke or something that they didn't even understand. And we read it's like, oh, that's a lyric from a song. It's like, oh, I thought they was, and it's like, nah, because we were just having fun. Somewhere along the line, Facebook became this, and it might have been that for a few people, but over the course of time, more and more people have been using Facebook as their personal diary and their personal journal. And some, I mean, personally, I've known some people who were posting things and nobody thought it was serious, and people thought they were just looking for attention and they actually needed help, but nobody thought it was real. And especially if it's out of character for that person to be posting personal stuff, or things like I just feel like giving up, or things like that. Let's take that seriously, like regardless. And then nah, and as I'm saying this, I'm thinking like if you feel like the person is trying to get attention and it's a reason behind that, then what's the reason why they're trying to get attention? Something's going on there. So take that moment, that you feel like somebody's looking for attention, and try to figure out, well, what type of attention are they looking for? Because they really could be hurting inside, because we all don't deal with things the same way. We all don't, you know, when something's going on with us, just shut social media down altogether and take time with ourselves and figure out what's going on. Some people, they actually take to social media and they post stuff and they share their feelings, they share what's going on because that's just what they do. And it doesn't make it wrong or right for that person. But what I think what makes it wrong is we take for granted sometimes without actually investigating, without actually making sure that the person is okay. Because everybody doesn't do what we do. Everybody doesn't react how we react. I personally don't put stuff on social media. I remember years ago I used to I used to do these fake check-ins like I was places that I wasn't because, just to be funny, but as time has progressed now, like people really take Facebook seriously. So I don't even do that anymore. Something that I never thought about until the other day, somebody brought this up and I was like, wow. So for those of you who are on LinkedIn, you know how every so often you will see a notification that somebody is celebrating a certain amount of years on their job and congratulate them. I used to always send somebody congratulations, but when I heard this the other day, I'm going to stop. I'm never going to do that again because we, just like I said before, we don't know what's going on with people. We don't know if people are actually satisfied with being in that job that amount of time. Like you see somebody been working somewhere 15 years and you're like, yeah, man, congratulations. Like that's a milestone that's major, but we don't know if they're being fulfilled in that position, if they're being fulfilled in that job, if they even want to be in that job. And it was amazing to me that I didn't even think about that being a person who's been in a job that I didn't want to be in. But I got so caught up in the excitement of a notification telling me it's time to celebrate somebody without even knowing if it's something I should even be celebrating. So that's something else that we need to take a look at too. Like these notifications or these memories and things that we're seeing, are they things that still need to be celebrated? Like we need to get back to having conversations with people. Um, we need to get back to talking to people. We need to get back to letting people know that we're there for them and not just saying it because it sounds cool, but actually meaning it and actually being the person they can talk to or a contact when they just need somebody to talk or just need somebody to listen. Sometimes somebody just needs to talk to you and you don't have to say anything, but I'm here, I'm listening, and just be there. You don't always have to have the right answers or have advice or something, to give them because a lot of times when people talk about their problems and they're actually saying things out loud, they come up with the solutions themselves because when they're talking, they're really trying to dissect and break down what's going on so they can explain it. And in doing that, they get an understanding themselves. So it's not always being there so you can have something to say to encourage somebody or lift them up. It's being there so that they can have somebody who listens and who actually cares. So I just want to say, with social media, let's not take for granted that everyone's okay because we see them posting all the time. Still check on your friends, family, coworkers, check and make sure they're okay. And with LinkedIn, if somebody's celebrating, if LinkedIn is telling you somebody's celebrating the anniversary, before you go and congratulate them, make sure that they're in a place they want to be and make sure that they're at a job where they're being fulfilled and that they're happy. Like I said, I never thought about LinkedIn like that before, and I'm so glad I got that revelation. It's wow. So check on your people, check on your friends, family, and coworkers because you might be the only person that does. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and this is the place where poetry meets conversation. Hit that follow button and turn on your notifications so you won't miss an episode. Check out my blog, thebrownsugarcafe.blog. Also connect with me on Instagram at thebrownsugarcafe. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, remember, keep pushing forward.